Hello, baseball fans. Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming coming to you from Southside Park in beautiful downtown Chicago. Game 2 of our 1908 Chicago White Sox replay. And the opener yesterday against these same Detroit Tigers ended in a 4-4 tie called after 10 innings on account of darkness. So both teams eager to get back at it and see if one can get the dub today. Our lineups for the Tigers, leading off in left field, will be Matty McIntyre, Germany Schaefer at second, Sam Crawford in center, Ty Cobb in right, Claude Rossman will be at first base, Bill Kaufman at third, Boss Schmidt gets the duties behind the plate today, and Charlie O'Leary at short, and on the hill for the Tigers, Ed Summers. For the homestanding White Sox, Ed Hahn leads off in right, Fielder Jones in center, Patsy Doherty in left, Freddie Perrant at short, Jake Atz at second, Jiggs Donahue at first, Lee Tannehill at third, and Billy Sullivan behind the dish. And on the bump for the White Sox will be Frank Smith. And Frank Smith in 1908, a 16-game winner with a 2.03 ERA. And we are set to go as McIntyre digs in. The umpire calls play ball. We are underway. Game 2 of our 1908 Chicago White Sox replay. So it's going to be a 4-4-3. So 18, and that will be at third base. So at third base for the homestanding Sox, Tannehill is a 1, so 19 in column 4, and that is going to be a ground ball, 5-3 on the putout, 1 away. The eccentric Germany Schaefer steps up. And that's going to be a total of 3 in column 5. Ground ball down to second base. So 2 up, 2 down as Atz takes care of his counterpart at second, Schaefer. And going to be in column 1. And that was going to be a 44 in column 1, and that's a possible clutch hit. With bases empty, it's going to be a walk, however, so Crawford draws a base on balls, trots down to first. And again, using the automated stealing system as Ty Cobb steps up. Cobb had a rough start in yesterday's ball game. Left runners in scoring position a couple of times. It's going to be in column 1, and that will be a 5 plus a 3, 8 in column 1, and that's a pop out to third base. And checking symbols, nope, it's F5, and inning is over. No runs, no hits, no errors. Heading to the bottom of the first inning. White Sox coming up, and Tigers 0 as Ed Hahn leads off against Ed Summers, who appeared in relief in yesterday's ball game. And it's going to be a 32 in column 6. 32 will be a pop out to third base. So Hahn starts the White Sox the same way the Tigers ended their half of the first inning. Fly ball to the third baseman. Fielder Jones up in the power column again, and again 32 in column 6, and another pop out to third. So Summers leaving it up in the zone. The Sox cannot get around on it though. 2 pop-outs to start the inning. Patsy Doherty up. And the Chicago White Sox, a left fielder. It's going to be a 57 in column 4. And that will be column 3, sorry. 57, 59 in column 3. And that is going to be a rare play. So rare plays, we roll 1 die, even. We'll use play result 53 to 57, and odd go to the rare play book. And there's a special one for 1908. Not going to be the case here. That is a dribbler towards the mound. And roll 1 die against the runner's speed. If it's higher, he is out, and Doherty is a 5. And great play, nips him, 1-3 on the putout. So 3 up, 3 down, go the White Sox. All he needed was a 5 or less to beat that out. Couldn't do it, as Claude Rossman, the catcher or first baseman, leads it off for Detroit. And in the power column, that is going to be a 17 in column 6. Deep fly to left field, and that chases Doherty back to the track, but again, expansive an outfield here in Southside Park. Easy put out, one down. Bill Coughlin up. And the Tigers' third baseman. And that's going to be a 55. He's a right-hander, so that makes it a 58 in column 2. And 58, looping drive to the outfield, and it is going to the right fielder. If fielder's defensive rating is higher than the Rays number, it is going to be an out. And Rays number there is a 2, and in right field, Cobb easily exceeds out with a 4. I'm sorry, not Cobb. Hahn exceeds out, so fly out to right field, 2 down. Catcher Bosch Schmidt, who did not get the start in the opener, steps up. And it's going to be column 5. This will be a 4 total in column 5, and 4 is going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. So 3 up, 3 down, go the Tigers in the top of the second, and this game not starting the way it did yesterday, where we had 7 runs scored in the first 3.5 innings. Freddie Perrant leads off against Summers, going to be in column 3. And 32 or 31 total in column 3, and that is going to be a line out to left field. So Summers perfect so far through 4 batters as Jake Att steps in. Column 3, and that is going to be a 6 total in column 3. Short fly out to center field. So coming in to take care of that is Crawford, and 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the second. Jiggs Donahue up, Chicago first baseman. In the power column, and that is going to be a total of 32 in column 6, and 32 is going to be yet another pop out to the third baseman. So 3 up, 3 down, and busy chasing flies so far is Coughlin for the Tigers. As we head to the top of the third inning, no score in this one. Charlie O'Leary, the batter, facing Frank Smith. And this will be a defensive check in column 4. 2 will be the second baseman. So that is going to be a 5 plus 3, 8 in column 4. And that is going to be a ground ball to first 6-3 on the putout. Brings up the pitcher, Ed Summers. Summers steps in against his counterpart. And we are going to column 5. And this is going to be a total of 30 in column 5. 30 in column 5 is going to be a fly out center field. So 2 quick outs as Fielder Jones comes in to take care of that. Back to the top of the order for the Tigers. Only 1 base runner so far in this one. McIntyre digs in, and column 5, it's going to be a total of 4, and 4 in column 5, grounder down to short. So 6-3 as Perrant whips out over to Donahue, and again, Tigers go down in order. In the top of the third, we are heading to the bottom of the frame. Still no score in this one. Ed Summers facing Lee Tannehill. And Tannehill, the shortstop, going to be in column 5. And 6, it's going to be a total of 9 in column 5. And that is going to be a base on balls. So Tannehill gives the Sox their first runner. And that's going to bring up the pitcher spot, and Sullivan with a bunt rating of 1. They are going to try for the sacrifice. Infield is back. So total of 11, and it's going to be hit to the first baseman. 11 is going to be a foul, 2 strikes. So if we miss again, it's going to be a strikeout, but he's going to square up. Sullivan squares again, and 9 this time. 9, and it's going to be hit to the third baseman, and it's going to be a pop out. I'm sorry, sacrifice. Infield was not in. So Sullivan gets the runner over to second base. And with 1 out, runner in scoring position, that brings up the pitcher, Frank Smith. And going to the power column, going to be a total of 61 in column 6, and 61, and that's going to be a double into the corner. The pitcher comes through with a smash into the gap, and he's into second base standing up. Coming around to score is Tannehill. Sox jump on top, 1-0. As the number 9 position in the order comes through, still only 1 out, and runner on second base. Top of the order, Ed Hahn up. Popped out to the third baseman his first trip to the plate. He's going to be in the fielding column, and 17. And 2 will be second baseman. So for the Tigers at second base, a 3, total of 20 in column 4, and that's going to be a grounder to first base. I'm sorry, grounder out at first, 4-3 on the put out, and runners advance. So over to third goes Smith. 2 down, and that brings up the left-handed hitting fielder Jones, the Chicago center fielder. And again to the defensive column, and going to be an 11. And this is the shortstop, so 11 and 3 is 14 in column 4, and it's going to be a possible error. So second baseman for Detroit, Schaefer, 43. So anything above 43 will be an error, otherwise he makes a play, and 52, it is going to be an error. So coming in to score on the E4 will be the pitcher Smith, and an unearned run for Summers. Of course, no RBI on that. And our first error of the ball game brings up Patsy Doherty. Sox left fielder digs in. Here comes a pitch, again in the defensive column. This time it'll be on the second baseman. Or again, and it's going to be a 3 plus 25, 28 in column 4, and bunt down the line. Roll 2 die against the fielder's range if both are high or batter out at first. Runners advance 1 base if either die is not high or safe on a bunt single. So range at second base is a 3. So Tigers want that to be higher. Need 2 4s, and not going to happen, so bunt single, and the Sox, keeping the inning alive, playing small ball, brings up the cleanup hitter, shortstop Freddie Perrant. Needs to adjust his uniform, get right side up in the batter's box. Ed Summers a pitch. And again, going to the defensive column, it's going to be a 5 and 5 against the shortstop. So that will be a total of 8, and 8 in column 4 is going to be a ground ball, 6-3 on the putout. So Tigers get out of the inning, but not before surrendering a couple of runs, only on 1 hit, had a costly error in there. And we head to the top of the 4th inning, 2-0. Hometown Sox in the lead. And coming up for the Tigers is Germany Schaefer. So Schaefer staying in that defensive column, it's going to be an 11. And the White Sox shortstop is going to make that a 14 in column 4, and 14 is going to be a possible error. 25 is the defensive rating of Perrant, so good chance of an error there, and that is E6. So the Tigers have a base runner on to start the 4th here. As lack of fielding in the dead ball era starts to rear its ugly head. Column 5 for Crawford, and that is going to be a total of 29. 29 in column 5, fly out to center field. And a runner is forced to go back to first base. 1 down for Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb not off to a great start this season. And you know he's chomping at the bit to get a base hit here, get on the base paths. Column 2, and column 2 is going to be a total of 17. Strikeout with bases empty, or fly out to center field with men on base. So Cobb gets a foul tip on a tough slider, then drives the next one into center field, where coming in to put it away is fielder Jones. 2 out for Claude Rossman. And column 3, it's going to be a total of 33 in column 3. And 33 in column 3, line drive to center field, so 3 straight outs to the center fielder, fielder Jones. And error does not come back to bite the Sox. We're heading to the bottom of the fourth inning, 2-0, Sox in the lead. Jake Att set to start it off against Summers. And it's going to be column 2, and that's going to be 16 total in column 2. 16 is going to be a single to right field. So Att starts it off, and he is going to try, he's got the asterisk here, so we're going to roll against Summers' hold rating, which is a 3. Above that, he's going to steal, and he's going to be held to first base, can't get the lead. So Jiggs Donahue, the batter for the Sox. And in the defensive column, 5 and 3 is going to be the third baseman. So third base for the Tigers, that's going to be a total of 8 in column 4, and that's going to be a ground ball. Runners advance one base, runner on second hold. So the only play is going to be to first base. Atz goes down to second, 5-3 on the putout. Donahue's retired. That brings up Lee Tannehill. And Tannehill walked and scored the game's first run back in the third inning. Column 5, and it's going to be a total of 28. 28 in column 5. Fly out to right field, the runner's hold. If batter has a raised result on third base, sacrifice fly, and not going to be the case. So 2 outs now for the Sox, and that brings up the catcher, Billy Sullivan. Sullivan sacrificed to the third baseman his first time to the plate. And column 5, that is going to be a 28 total. 28 in column 5 is going to be a fly out to right field. So leadoff hit is stranded, and we've played 4 innings in this one. White Sox holding a slim 2-0 lead over the visiting Tigers, as Bill Coughlin set to lead it off against Frank Smith to start the 5th inning here. And going to be in column 3, and that's going to be a total of 3 in column 3. A dribbler to the catcher, and the batter's going to be thrown out at first base. So 2-3 on the putout. The unusual ground out there brings up Bosch Schmidt. And the Burley Tigers catcher, who had a little bit of a rivalry with his teammate Ty Cobb, is told in the Glory of Their Times by Sam Crawford. Cobb got in a punch on Schmidt during an altercation before it was broken up, and the newspapers carried the story that Cobb had trimmed Schmidt in a fight, which irritated Bosch Schmidt greatly, and he promptly, in the next few days, took the opportunity to pay Ty Cobb back. Gave him a fairly decisive beating. So one of the few times Cobb apparently, according to the story, actually told Schmidt he had had enough. So one of the few times the fiery Cobb was bested in a bout or backed down by a teammate. Schmidt with a 7 in column 5, and that is going to be a total of 10. So 10 in column 5, and that's going to be a walk. So Schmidt on at first base. That brings up the shortstop, Charlie O'Leary, and not going to bunt this time. Instead, it's going to go to the power column. And 20 is going to be the result. And 20, a deep fly ball going back to right field, and running that down in the corner of the park is Ed Hahn. Back to first goes Schmidt. He gave that a ride. That brings up the pitcher, Ed Summers, who flew out to Crawford in center his first time up. To Jones in center. And going to be a 4 defensive column. And 5 will be a shortstop for the White Sox. And total of 4 in column 4. And that's going to be a 6-3 ground out. So again, the Tigers, we're through 5 here. And the Tigers' only base runners have come on 2 walks and an error. And not to jinx Frank Schmidt, but he's got a no-no going through 6 innings here. And he's going to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning against Ed Summers. Power column, that's going to be a total of 17 in column 6. And deep fly ball to left field. It dies out there in the vast expanse of the South Side ballpark. So one down as Matty McIntyre gets the ball back in. Top of the order for the Sox. Ed Hahn, the batter, and Hahn is popped out and grounded out to second base. And it's going to be column 2. And 5, it's going to be a total of 20 in column 2. And 20 in column 2, fly out to right field, 2 away. Fielder Jones, the batter. Jones has reached on an error and also popped out. So here comes a pitch, and it's going to be a 49 total in column 3. 49 in column 3. It's a line drive toward right field. And versus a right-handed pitcher, which Summers is. Single to right, runners advance 2 bases, 1 or 2 speed at first, stops at second base. And of course, no runners on, so a 2-out single for Jones. And that brings up Patsy Doherty. Doherty is 1 for 2 on the day. And column 2, that is going to be an 11. 16 total in column 2, and 16 total single to right. Runners advance 1 base with 2 outs. Runner on first will go to third. So at the corners now, and the White Sox threatening once again with the cleanup hitter. The not so dangerous to be hitting in the 4th spot, Freddie Perron hit 207 in 1908. Going to be in the defensive column, and that's a 1. So third base for the Tigers, and third base is going to be a total of 3. So 4 in column 4 is going to be a 5-3 putout. And despite giving up 2 hits, Summers gets out of the frame with no damage as we head to the top of the 6th inning. Frank Smith working on a no-no. Matty McIntyre to start it off for the Tigers. Column 3, and I probably jinxed him. And that is going to be a total of 4 in column 3, and instead short fly to right field, so not yet. And pitchers, Summers has a total of 33 batters faced. So when he comes around to face Jiggs Donahue for the 4th time, he'll be at his point of weakness. And Smith has a total of 30. So when he comes around to face Sam Crawford for the 4th time, he'll be at his, and he's not in any danger of getting close to that at this point. So 1 out, as Germany Schaefer up. Schaefer was the hero in yesterday's game offensively for the Tigers, doing better than his much higher regarded teammates Crawford and Cobb. And column 3, it's going to be a total of 32. And 32 in column 3, line drive into right field, but that's going to go right to the outfielder Hahn, who puts it away. 2 quick outs, Sam Crawford up. And column 2 again, and that's going to be a total of 15 in column 2, and that's in danger territory. And Crawford grounds a single through the hole between the second baseman and first baseman into right field. And the no-no is broken up. Tigers with their first hit of the ball game. And the crowd, realizing what was going on, gives Smith a polite ovation. So 5 2/3 of no-hit ball has come to an end as Ty Cobb steps in. And column 1 going to be a 5, total of 7 in column 1. And Cobb pops it up, and circling back into the outfield is Atz, puts it away. So first hit of the ball game for Detroit. They strand Sam Crawford at first base, heading to the bottom of the 6th inning. 2-0, Sox in the lead. And set to start it against Summers is Jake Atz. Into the power column we go. And going to be a total of 39 in column 6. Struck him out. Summers draws back and gets a little bit extra on that fastball, and unable to catch up with it is Atz as Jiggs Donahue steps up to the plate. And that is going to be a total, Donahue the left-hander, a total of 50 in column 3. And line drive towards right field. And Summers, the right-handed pitcher, and that's going to be a single. So Donahue on, one down, and Tannehill looks for the sign. Are they going to try and bunt? Actually, they're going to try a hit and run. So we go to the hit and run columns. Red for the pitcher, white for the batter. Hit and run, that is going to be a 4. Total of 5 in the hit and run column, and it's going to be a ground out to first base. Runners advance 1. So technically gets the job done. 3 unassisted on the put out. 2 down, runner in scoring position for Billy Sullivan. Chicago catcher digs in against Summers, going to the power column, and it's going to be a total of 32 in column 6, and that is going to get out of the inning with a harmless pop fly into foul territory. Going over to take care of that is Coughlin. So one more hit for the Sox, stranded at second base as we head to the top of the 7th inning. Still 2-0, Chicago in the lead over Detroit as Rossman steps up. And we're going to be in column 1. And it's going to be a total of 7 in column 1 and pops him up to second base, 1 down. Thing I've noticed in very early in the replay seems to be an inordinate, number of pop-ups. We'll just see how that plays out. Could just be the way the dice are working right now. But yeah, definitely noticing more pop-ups to the infield than in other baseball games I've played. Again, not that big a deal. 3 and a 6 to Coughlin, and that's going to be a 45 or 44 total. So 44 in column 3, line drive toward left field, and versus right-handed pitcher. Leaping catch for the shortstop for the out, runner on second, less than 2 outs, possible double play. Not going to be the case. So line drive to short, and a fine play out there by Perrant for the Sox. Brings up Bosch Schmidt, the burly catcher. He who thrashed Ty Cobb, as told earlier in the game. Going to be a total of 4, and the only one getting thrashed here is him. Struck him out. So Smith, his first strikeout of the game, actually. Yeah, Schmidt sent back. 3 up, 3 down. In the top of the 7th, we head to the 7th inning stretch. 2-0. Chicago is in the lead. And fun fact about Ed Walsh, he was going to definitely be one of the featured players in this replay since he had so many starts and relief appearances. It was actually in a barbershop quartet with Cleveland's Addie Joss, and apparently a very fine singer. So those two were renowned for their vocal prowess, as well as being, at the time, 2 of the finest pitchers in the American League. So there you go. Fun fact about Ed, as bottom of the 7th inning, Frank Smith steps in. And going to be column 1. So it's going to be a 35 plus 3. 38 in column 1, and 38 in column 1 is going to be a ground ball down to third. 5-3 on the put out. 1 away, back to the top of the order. And that brings up Ed Hahn. Hahn today 0 for 3, has flown out twice and grounded out to second base. And again to column 1, and it's going to be a total of 6. Struck him out. Summers, his second K of the game. As both pitchers seem to be getting stronger as we go. Fielder Jones now, 2 outs, nobody on. Column 3. And that's going to be a total of 59. 59 in column 3, and that is going to be a potential rare play again. And no, it's going to be a dribbler back to the mound. And again, going to try and beat this out. He have to roll higher than his speed, which is a 4. Or actually, Rob, sorry, rolls higher than his speed. He is out. So 4 or less. And again, a fine play by Summers. Second time he's sprung off the mound to retire a Sox runner on a close play at third. 3 up, 3 down go the Sox. We're through 7 here. And this game racing along much quicker than our opener did. 2 innings to go. Sox lead it 2-0. Charlie O'Leary up to face Smith. And column 1 is going to be a 4-6 total. Struck him out. So Smith, 2 straight strikeouts. And Ed Summers, No stirring on the bench. They're going to let him hit. And really, why not? He's pitching a good game. Should be able to get through the game. Column 5, and column 5 with a 6 for both pitcher and batter is going to be a total of 30. 30 in column 5, fly out to center field. So 2 quick outs, back to the top of the order. Matty McIntyre, the batter. Left-hander digs in, going to column 6 to the power column. Going to be a total of 33 there, and pops him up. And second baseman for the Sox, Jake Atz, puts that away. And another pop-up. So we are heading to the bottom of the 8th inning. Sox clinging to that 2-0 lead, and Frank Smith looks untouchable. A one-hitter through 8 innings for the Sox. Column 5 to Patsy Doherty, and that is going to be a total of 1 + 1, 2 in column 5, and it's going to be a grounder down to the first baseman. Gets that, flips it over to Summers, 1 down. 3-1 on the put out there. Freddie Peralta up, and the Chicago shortstop digs in, and it's going to be a total of 7 in column 5. 7 in column 5 is going to be a walk. So Peralta on, and Jake Atz. Jake Atz is a 1-bunter. Infield is playing back in this case. For bunts, I only bring the infield in when there is a runner on third base. That's just going to be my house rule. So Atz looking to sacrifice and hits this to the first baseman. Total of 9. Infield back, sacrifice bunt. So it's going to go 3-4 on the put out there. Going down to second base is Perrant. Cubs, or the White Sox, trying to scratch out one more run, playing small ball here in the bottom of the 8th. Jiggs Donahue, 2 outs, runner in scoring position. In the power column, 33, and it's going to be, 31, 32 total, and 32 in column 6. Pops him out to the third baseman. So the dreaded pop-up once again, F5 on the put out. No hits, no runs, no errors, 1 left. Heading to the final frame. And Frank Smith on the verge of a dominating complete game shutout here. Got plenty of juice left. He will not tire again. Well, he could potentially tire when he gets to Crawford, but pitching a shutout, he'd have to give up a run to reach his fatigue point. So he should be good to go. Power column, and Germany Schaefer, the batter. It's going to be a total of 33 in column 6, and pops him out to second base. Lots of pop-outs. Sam Crawford up. And Crawford, there is one thing I think I'm going to do. On column 1, there's an option, depending on base runners, for a pop-out to turn into a fly-out to the outfield. I think I'm just going to apply that as a general rule. Again, we'll play it by ear, see if the pop-outs continue to be as frequent as they have been thus far. So column 2, and that is going to be a grand total of 6 in column 2, and 6, that's going to be a strikeout. So Summers, I'm sorry, I think I was looking at the wrong place. Never mind that. A total of 17 in column 2. And 17 in column 2, still going to be a strikeout. Bases are empty. So second strikeout of the game for Frank Smith, as Ty Cobb is the last chance for the White Sox. Crowd on his feet. Smith gets the sign, kicks, delivers. And column 2, that is going to be a 43 + 4, 47 in column 2. Can Cobb keep it going? And ground ball, shortstop. Up with that is Perrant, whips it over to first base. Donahue squeezes it, ball game over. A dominating 1-hit performance by Frank Smith, and the White Sox take game 2 of this series 2-0. And, not a bad pitching effort by Summers. He was victimized by an unearned run. And he only gave up 5 hits himself. So final line score in this one, the Tigers, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error. And the Chicago White Sox, 2 runs on 5 hits, also 1 error. But they have achieved their first victory of the 1908 campaign after an opening day tie. 2-1 or 2-0 over the Sox. Definitely player of the game. No doubt about this. That has got to go to the White Sox pitcher, Frank Schmidt. Besides his single, the only other base runners, 2 walks and an error, and he also struck out 3. So a good performance by Frank Smith to get his first victory of the season. He's going to move to 1-0, and Ed Summers takes a loss, moves to 0-1. Summers didn't pitch bad again. 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 of those runs earned, and he gave up a total of 2 walks and 2 strikeouts for the Detroit pitcher. So there you have it, and this game, again, much faster. Got through this in about 35 minutes total, minus my talking between batters at points. So, yeah, definitely getting the flow down. Still, still going to take a while before I memorize everything, but it's starting to come much easier. And again, very, very impressed with this game. I know I'm getting redundant, but I'm not a charts guy when it comes to baseball games, but this game is turning out to be a definite exception because it flows so well, and the funnest and key part for me is the batter-pitcher interaction, which is outstanding. So there you have it. Game 2 of the 1908 White Sox replay is in the books. 2-0 victory for the good guys. And we will be back later with Game 3. And until then, thanks for watching, and keep rolling for the fences. Have a good one. And also, I'd be remiss, being a veteran myself and us having a son that is currently in the Navy. Want to wish a happy Veterans Day out there, not only to all that served, but also all who are still on active duty protecting this country and willing to make the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. So thank you very much, and hope you all have a great day.